Yesterday was wonderful, and I know today will be just as wonderful, but I always, when I participate in these events, look forward to learning something. So there were a couple of new vocabulary terms from yesterday, the generativity and ruralism. These were things that were new and very exciting initiatives. And I'm glad I had the opportunity to participate. The day ended, some people spoke to me yesterday saying, well, geez, the news is not really good. After we had the presentation from President Graham Carr from Concordia and Joe Ortona from QUESCREN, certainly there are challenges in the English-speaking community. And as someone who works for the Quebec government, obviously I can't comment on, things before the courts or anything like that. But I can say, my role at the Secretariat allows me to make sure that the Quebec government and the ministries of the Quebec government are well aware of the needs of the English-speaking community, and I do that all the time. The Secretariat has two main volets in its mission. One is to support the vitality of the English-speaking community across Quebec. So we fund organizations, we support projects, all aimed at promoting that vitality everywhere across Quebec, from the North Shore, the Gaspé, Outaouais, everywhere. The other volet, and it's one that I'm more involved with, is working with other ministries within the government to ensure that they're aware of the needs and the concerns in the community. And that can be challenging. But I work with many of the people in this room who share their needs with me, and my role then is to communicate those needs and discuss those needs with my counterparts. And on a positive note, I can tell you, I've been now with the Secretariat for just over a year. My colleagues in the Quebec government, in the other ministries, whether it's the Ministère de Langue Française or Santé, Emploi, they are genuinely working for solutions. We are working for solutions. Yes, there are challenges. There are political realities. There are challenges. But we can't lose sight of our role and our obligation to continue to work on behalf of the English-speaking community, because, as the recent branding efforts of TALK, aka QCGN, I really love the slogan and finish with, Nous sommes Québécois. And we can't forget that. We are Quebecers. We're English-speaking Quebecers, and I say all the time to my colleagues, je suis fier d'être un Québécois, mais un Québécois d'expression anglaise. And that's our reality. So we need to continue to work together, and forums like this help us to do that. Looking at the sustainability and vitality of education, there are challenges, whether it's the regular sector or post-secondary, and from all my years in both those sectors, before I moved into government, I'm well aware of those. But we need to work together to continue to address our needs and to continue to ensure that we have a vital role here in Quebec now and in the future. So I want to applaud all of you who are on the front lines of education and contributing to that vitality, and anything I can do at the Secretariat. I'm open, communicate with me. When I used to work at Vanier, my colleagues at Vanier could attest to, I always had an open door policy. Some of my colleagues said, why do you let people come in and talk? Open door communication. So if you have needs, concerns that you feel the Secretariat needs to be aware of, that we can help you with, we're open for business. So I wish you all the best in the session. I look forward to today, and have a wonderful session. Again, thanks to the organizers for organizing these wonderful events. Merci.
Thank you, John. So now we're going to have Linton Garner come and introduce. So Linton is a commissioner at the Western Quebec School Board. Is it? It's okay. It's going to be okay. And then he's going to introduce our keynote speaker for today. He's Denburk Reid. So.
Yeah, they have to help me out this morning. I did put my glasses in my pocket, but it seems like they've slipped out somewhere in my card, so I couldn't read the little notes that I had. So no, she helped me out here technologically, and and now it looks like I get them big, So I will work with this. But thank you all for being here. Thank you, Deputy Minister, and for your opening remarks. And I'm here to talk about an extraordinary gentleman in our community. Denburk Reid stands as a pivotal figure in Montreal's Black community, embodying resilience and empowerment through his multifaceted activism and youth development initiatives. Born and raised in the city's diverse neighborhoods, Reid has channeled his passion for basketball into a transformative, program like Red Rush and Lady Rush, which provide underprivileged youth, and particularly Black youth, with an opportunity, to play basketball. And, he does a lot of athletic training, mentorship, and his skills to combat some, systemic barriers are by none, excellent. And he's distinguished himself in many ways in doing so. For those of you who have not heard of his program, from a basketball community sense, is a really tough program, to run up against. He has transformed basketball into a charitable organization, a foundation that works with not only those youth, but contributes to the general well-being of our community. In our community, of the Black community, we've always, during my career and now, the old heads like me have always wanted to see the youngins distinguish themselves, take their place in the leadership in the community, and not only the Black community, but the Montreal community as well. It's extremely important that we have representation like we have from people like Denburk Reid, so young people can see it and be it if they desire it. Much to my chagrin, those weren't the examples that I had growing up and going through the system, but I had mentors like a Hope, and Denburk regards me in some way like as a mentor, and we hope that he's going to take his place properly and represent our community. Now, I must confess that Denburk and I both played at McGill University, played basketball, and the walls are not tumbling down, and him much more recent than I, as I played some years ago, he distinguished himself there as an athlete and as a leader. I must say, on a basketball note, I know we've all heard the expression, if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Well, I'm in the right room today because I'm not the best baller in the room, all right? And that my ladies and gentlemen, that title belongs to Mr. Denburk Reid. So it is my honor and my pleasure to present him to speak to you about his accomplishments and his view about the Black community and the Montreal community. So Denburk, all right, the stage is yours.
Yes, so as Linton said, thank you for that intro. I'm glad that they sent some type of bio in today. So let me start backwards a little bit because, so yes, I did play basketball. I did play basketball at McGill University. So I was able to get to McGill. So I'll let you guys know through my story how I got to McGill. But yes, I was able to graduate McGill as the school's all-time leading scorer, as the team's all-time leading steals, assists. I have all those records. I was inducted into the McGill Sports Hall of Fame in 2016. One of the first Black male basketball player to be inducted in such a long, historic time at McGill. So those are some of my basketball accomplishments. Today, I'm hoping that my story will be an inspiration to all of you guys. You get a chance to see who I am, know who I am, why I think the way I think. But ultimately, I love the fact that we're all here together from different pockets of the cities, from different sectors, in education and government, you name it. We're here because I believe and I hope that we all care about the future of Montreal, of Quebec, and the future is in the youth. And if the future is in the youth, we got to do the best that we can, collaborate the best that we can, break down whatever barriers separate you and I to come to the heart of the matter. And the heart of the matter is the youth, right? Are we on the same page? Are we on the same page? That's why we're here. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So for me, being 5'0" and being able to reach those heights, there has to be something crazy, something not normal. So I grew up. Well, I was born in Manchester, Jamaica. That's where I was born. I was born in Manchester, Jamaica, and we came to Canada in '84. In '84, and Bill 101. That's like the era of Bill 101 start to show its face, and so right away when we came up here, nine of us. So nine, so aunts and uncles, like aunts and uncles. My grandparents were living in Little Burgundy, so we moved right into Little Burgundy, but it was a 1-bedroom apartment, 9 of us. So there was a bedroom, there was like a little kitchen, and then there was a living room. So in that living room, we had a pull-out couch. So the pull-out couch, three of us slept on the pull-out couch, and then you would rotate into the room where my grandparents were. So then you would go from floor to couch to floor to the bed, and then we just did it like that. And then we weren't allowed to go out to the parks or anything like that because it wasn't safe. But on Sundays we would walk. I see some families, some African families together like now, and they all walk together. And it just brings me back I'm like, yo, we used to do that. We used to do that because we used to go to the corner store and we could all get one thing from the store. And it was, we didn't know any different. It was good. That was family. It was fun. And then we started to kind of explore a little bit. My aunts and uncles, they started to venture off a little bit, and we would go behind them. And then we discovered Little Burgundy, the place that we were actually living in. So now, any one of you guys know about Little Burgundy? You guys know about Little Burgundy in the 80s? Early 90s, yeah. So Little Burgundy wasn't really the best place to raise a child. It wasn't really the best place to grow up. It was filled with crime, violence. I had friends, make wrong decisions, incarcerated or murdered. So it's bad. It's bad. There's really nothing positive that you would think can come out of it, right? But fortunate for me, there was always a community organization. There was always an individual. I just remember little conversations, like little questions, like, you staying out of trouble? You doing your schoolwork? How's school? And then we would have an organization we could run into, run out, get kicked out of, come back, and you had mentors. Like Linton was saying, mentors. People who cared. If you don't care, you're not going to ask that question, right? If you don't care, you're not going to ask that question. And for me, that was so important. And the fact that I was afraid of going to jail. I was afraid of getting killed. I was afraid of getting beat up, and I was afraid of my grandparents. No, but it's true. But I was always slick enough to find ways to avoid, because we all know right and wrong, right? And there's this thing that the youth go through, that coolness effect. So because it's I want to be cool, I'm gonna go along with it, right? because I don't want to be different, I'm just going to go along with it. I really know it's not the right thing to do, but I'm going to go along with it because I want to be accepted. I want to be cool. So being a leader. So I've always been one to believe I want to lead. Sometimes when you lead, you got to know when to follow too. And we're going to get into that. It's not always about, oh, me. It's about us. And okay, you're strong in this lane. Okay, let's go this lane. Okay, I have this idea, and we work together, because the biggest barrier, forget about financial barriers, of working together is what? Who can tell me? It's people. It's people, because we're all different. We have different characters. We have different beliefs. We were raised differently, right? And so no one wants to take a second to listen to each other, because what I believe is what I believe, and I know it's right. But when you eliminate all financial barriers, it's people. And the only way to break down those barriers is to communicate, to talk, to get to know each other. So I used to do this anytime I get into a new space, I do this exercise. And the exercise is Wolf, Saint Bernard, right? So there's Wolf, Saint Bernard, and Fox. Have you guys ever heard of that? Okay. I'm gonna get back to my little burgundy story, but I think in the context of what we're in, it's very important for me to share with you guys so that we understand how we can work together for the greater good. So I would say to you guys, identify yourself with one of those three animals. It wasn't even a wolf. I'm so sorry. It's a lion, a fox, and a Saint Bernard. So never done it this way, but we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. I promise you it won't be too long. So who can tell me the characteristics of a Saint Bernard? Show of hands, yeah. Okay. Loyal, helpful, protective, friendly. Okay. Those are some, you guys got that? Okay. Who can tell me the characteristics of a lion? Strong, proud, brave, fearsome, right? That's good. And who could tell me a characteristic of a fox? Smart, resourceful, resilience. Who said sly? Sly. Yeah. Fast. Yeah. Right? So those are the three characteristics. Okay. So now I'm going to ask you, who, just with a show of hands, who identifies themselves naturally, like as we sit here, as a Saint Bernard? Oh, so cute. Okay, nice. Thanks. Okay. So we saw who identifies themselves as a lion. Lion. Okay. Linton's like, yo, I'm a lion, but I don't want to show it. No, Linton, you gotta put your hand up. If you're a lion, you're a lion. You know what I mean? So if you're a lion, you're a lion. Be a lion. Who identifies themselves as a fox? Fox. Okay. So some people say, oh, fox, I don't trust them because they're foxy. They're foxy. Okay, cool. So, but it's important that everyone understands who their colleagues are or who their teammates are, right? So the question is, the real exercise is, now, when you're stressed, when it's deadlines, you have deadlines, when you have things that's coming up, right? When you're under pressure, which one of the three animals do you become? Do you stay the animal that you are, or do you go into another stream? So Saint Bernards, would you change, or you stay a Saint Bernard? If you would change, put your hand up that you would change, and which animal do you become? You become the fox. Anyone else becomes the fox? Anyone else becomes the lion? Becomes the lion. Okay, becomes the lion. Right? And we can do that exercise. Who was the lion? Right? Who was the lion? When it comes time for stress, do you stay a lion, or do you become a Saint Bernard? Or do you become a fox? And so on and so forth. Right? So I could say the same thing as if it's lunchtime and you didn't eat. No, but it's true. It's lunchtime and you didn't eat. Hey, John, you want to go? Oh, John is such a bad guy. Perception, right? Perception. But you're going to think, oh, man, I'm never talking to John again because John is, he's a jerk. And no, but what time did you go see John? I don't know. It was 12:30, it was 1 o'clock. Oh, man, he was here since 9. He probably didn't eat yet. What does that have to do with it? Well, when he doesn't eat, that's those Snickers commercials, right? So it's just to understand before we judge people, we need to understand who we're dealing with and what they're going through. Okay? So I bring it back to my story. So now I'm in Little Burgundy. These bad things are happening around me. I have to make a decision. I don't want to be a follower, so I find ways not to follow and to separate myself. But I find ways to separate myself through excuses. Oh, I got to go do something for my grandparents. I got to go do whatever the case may be. But at those ages, I knew right from wrong. That's what I'm trying to paint that picture. Then I was introduced to a sport, basketball. I was going away to New York to see my dad, and they were building a basketball court in Little Burgundy. So on my way back, my dad was like, "Do you want anything?" I was like, "Oh, no, not really." Or maybe a basketball. So he bought me a basketball. I come back to Little Burgundy. By the time I get back in that summer, everyone was playing basketball and everyone was good. Everyone was good. I wasn't good. But there was something in me that said, I want to be good. I want to be better. I want to be just as good as. And that started my pathway to basketball and this notion of never settling and always reaching that next level and always seeking what that next level will be, right? Like we cannot be complacent. If we're helping the youth and we're doing this and it's working, what's stopping you from taking it another step further? Because they're relying on you to push them or to pull them, right? But we can't hold them down. We cannot stunt their growth. I'm short because I felt like my growth was stunted. I don't know how, but I felt like my growth was stunted. So the story of my basketball career and my journey, it goes like this. I tried to make teams. I didn't make teams. I got into high school, tried out for a team. They didn't even let me try out. They just looked at me and they were like, yo, no, you're too small, right? You're too small. I worked hard because in my mind, I got to make that team. And I was playing with my friends outside, so I knew inside like what I can do and I could, but that guy's on that team, but I play him and the following year I tried, said the same thing, but the guys vouched for me, pushed the coach to look at me even more. He said, okay, I could come. Didn't make me try out. I was the water boy. But they got new uniforms and there was an extra uniform. I got it, but it was a large. So just imagine, yeah. It was bad. But I got to leave school early with them to go to these things. And I was always prepared and just waiting for the opportunity. So if you're not prepared for an opportunity, it's never happen, right? It will never happen. I was prepared for when McGill came academically to be able to get into the school. I was prepared because I was always doing what I needed to do to play basketball. I was always coming home, sitting around the kitchen table, doing my homework, which was just revision, so that I could go outside and play basketball. So a lot of it was surrounded by basketball. It was because of the love for basketball, I was able to get my master's and all of that stuff. Because if I wanted to play basketball, I had to do this, right? And just by doing that, it was just like you had a habit, good habits, right? So I tell the kids, when you're in school, do school. So I did all my homework in school. You know, the only time I really chilled was maybe recess because it was like 10, 15 minutes. But lunchtime, all of that, I was just doing my work. Same thing when I got to CEGEP, I was doing my work. There was no I'm in school, let's do school. And when I say my focus was the basketball, but it brought me good habits. So the basketball, I tell the kids in terms of basketball, use basketball, don't let basketball use you. What does that mean? Use basketball, don't let basketball use you. Use basketball in the sense that use it to get to where you want to go. So I have a bunch of kids. I'll tell you about the program after, but I have a bunch of kids. Their mindset is they want to play Division I basketball, university basketball, Division I CEGEP, but the ultimate is university. Great. It's a trick. I'm tricking them, but it's a trick. The ball, the basketball game is the magnet. Everybody loves it. Oh yeah, come. But once we get them, we have to kind of get them to think differently, right? We're not just athletes, we're student athletes. And once we're student athletes, one day the ball's gonna stop bouncing. And when the ball stops bouncing, who are you? Who are you? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna achieve? So the programs and anything that we do is we get them, we try to brainwash them. Well, I'm speaking real. We try to brainwash them to see. I force them to be in situations like this where they gotta put on their suit, they gotta present. I put them on the spot. It's the French kids speaking English, it's the English kids speaking French. It's everything. Because at the end of the day, those are the kids that we want to see strive. Those are the kids we want to see strive. So if they're coming from the neighborhoods that I'm talking about, and I didn't get into the nitty-gritty of the neighborhood, I just gave you a c'est pas bon. If we put them back out in the neighborhood, what do you think is going to happen? We want them to see more than the four corners of their neighborhood. If they see the four corners of their neighborhood, that they're going to be consumed with that. So we have to take them outside the four corners and see the world. When I started playing basketball and I started getting better and better and better because I was short, everybody was growing. First, it was the skills. So we work on our skills, but now I think I'm catching up, but then they're growing. So yeah, we could be on par with the skills, but we're not on par with the height. Who are you gonna take? Who are you gonna take? You're gonna take a tall kid or you're gonna take that little, who are you gonna take? It's only natural, right? You judge a book by its cover. You judge that first presentation, the first time I come in, the first time you see, you're gonna make a judgment, you're gonna make a story. So I want our kids, I want the kids of the community to present themselves well, to speak well, to show well. Please, thank you. Because if you don't do that and you're sitting back there with your hoodie on and whatnot, they're gonna judge you. True story. I'm in the metro. Adult me. It happens. Sitting down in the metro car, it's packed. I'm looking at this guy, right? This black guy, big. And he doesn't look happy. Like he doesn't look happy. He's not saying anything, but he just doesn't look happy, right? So in my mind, all kinds of things that I've seen my mind's running with all kinds of stuff. Call me racist or call me whatever, but it's running through my mind. I'm not going to deny it. This lady comes into the metro. The metro is full. We're all sitting. And he's sitting down like this, and I don't see the lady. But then when I look up, the lady's back is turned to me. And then he's down, and then he looks up. He sees it was an older white lady. He looks up, and he goes like this. And he goes, touches her. She's like, and then he gets up, and he goes. And then he goes, and I'm sitting there like this. I'm like, yo, I felt so bad. I felt so bad about, I felt like shit. For real. And I was just looking at him, and that in my heart, I was like, I love this guy. And I was like, if he need anything right now, I'll give it whatever he wants. So he saw me looking at him, and he goes, right? And I'm like, It happens, man. It happens. It happens. But how can we reduce that? How can we reduce that? How can we be better? It's what you have inside of you. People say, Denburk, you're crazy what you're doing. You're crazy. Like, you could be making so much money. Why are you not working there and there? I turned out, so it is what you're called to do. It's what you called to do. We say it's a passion or we love this and all of that stuff. It's not a job. It's not a job. It's not a job. It's your calling. So if it's your calling, if it's something that you're passionate about, do it. Put your heart in it. Go get it. Go get it. You'll feel a lot better, a lot more energized. You'll feel great to know that I'm going out and I'm going to make a difference today. Whatever you do, put the heart in it. Whatever you do, put the heart in it. Make it matter. Make it count. Every action, every word, make it count. Right? So now I'm here, everybody's there. I said, okay, now I need to be able to balance the scale. So they're touching the backboard, I want to touch the backboard. They're touching the net, I want to touch the net. They're touching the rim, I want to touch the rim. And as the habits, like we talked about habits, it was just something that was just natural for me to keep working. So now we're all dunking. We're all dunking the basketball. We're playing the games and we're dunking on people. We're getting rebounds and we're just, but what's the difference? The separator. I'm this size and they're that size. So now who are they looking at? The guy dunking at that size or the guy dunking at this size? The guy dunking at this size. But it's because of habits and un vouloir d'être mieux, right? I had to throw some French in there because, you know, right? And so that just kept it going. That just kept it going. Luckily for me, when I went into CEGEP, that's where I saw the world. It wasn't before because I was still in my neighborhood. But once I got into CEGEP, there were so many different people that I was able to connect with in my class, on the basketball team, in the atrium. There was one of my very, very good friends today who was a very successful business guy. I met him at Dawson. And there was a thing called the Jewish calf. There was this thing called the Jewish calf. I'm like, what you mean the Jewish calf? Then I would go into the Jewish calf. I was like, oh, there was nobody that looked like me in that Jewish calf. Right? So I was like, yo, am I allowed to be here? But I don't even know anybody anyways. Then I met Johnny. Johnny was on my basketball team and Johnny was in the Jewish calf. Yo, I was in the Jewish calf. Oh, Johnny, what you mean? Right? And then Johnny was like, oh, Berkey, this is do. And it was networking. So if there's anything that I would teach in university or whatever, it's the power of networking. And in order to be a good networker, you have to have a good connection. You have to have a good, what would I say? A good, not just a good vibe, but a good understanding on who people are, right? And are accepting our differences and making those differences come together. A good networker can see something on someone like a watch and say, oh, I love your watch. I love watch too. And then we start conversating around a watch, but then it leads into getting to know each other from a different level, right? So I think that community, education, sports opens up doors for greatness, not just for success. I believe in a pathway to success, yes, but I think if you're able to put your differences aside, those things that you think are barriers are really a starting point to connect, right? We have a chance to do great things. So I'm one guy from Little Burgundy, from Jamaica, Little Burgundy, one short guy that was able to get to CEGEP, to get to university, to get those awards that I spoke to you guys about. But I also founded a lot of things. So Red Rush Basketball, Rush stands for Reach for Your Dream, Uplift, Share, and Help Others. That's what Rush means. But the Rush, it also the way I used to play. I went after it. I attacked it. whatever we're doing, let's go after it. Let's go get it. But let's go get it in a nice way. Let's go get it with respect. Let's go get it with love, right? And great things are going to happen from that. I promise you, great things are going to happen from that. I also created the Montreal Community Cares Awards. Have you guys ever heard of it? Some maybe, I don't know. But that started from a place where I don't even know my time. This is see, I told you 5 minutes. You see, I told you, yeah, but somebody's supposed to be flashing it, you know. But Montreal Community Cares Awards, it started from one of my friends, Bad News Brown, that passed away. And I say passed away, but we're family here. He was murdered. I don't know. Police still hasn't caught the perpetrators. The street know. Police don't know. How does that? Okay. So I wanted to do something for him and for individuals like him, because at the funeral, everybody was saying such great things about him. Oh, he helped me do this, do that. He was a Black guy, Haitian guy. His parents, he was adopted from Port-au-Prince. His parents were white Irish, grew up in Saint-Henri. Saint Henry's right next to Little Burgundy. So we crossed borders and all of that stuff. He was murdered. He played the harmonica. The harmonica is not something that's very cool. Harmonica. In those times, reggae, rap, he's playing the harmonica. What? But he made it cool. He made it cool, right? He made the harmonica cool. He was a leader in his own right. He didn't care what other people said. He did what brought him joy. And he was a protector of his family. So all his brothers and sisters, his mom, his dad, they're all white. He would go to LA, do his things. He did it at a big level. Jay-Z, Kanye, yeah, he did it at a big level. Movies, he never lived there. He always came back because he never wanted to leave his parents alone, right? So in the funeral, they were saying so much great things, and it pissed me off because I'm like, this guy was a good guy. Like I could call him anytime, and he would come and speak to the youth. He would come to McGill, speak to the youth. You do anything that we wanted if he was in town, without any question. So the awards I started it was to honor people while they were here, and for the work that they're doing within the community to put their best foot forward. And that was something that people told me that no, you can't do it. You're too busy. Where are you gonna get the money? You can't. You're doing this, that. And I said, okay, thank you for your support. And I went and I did it anyways. I was working with the Alouettes at the time. I was director of community relations for the Alouettes for a long time. And so I was getting paid. I pay my bills at home, and I'll just go down pay on the venue. So anything it is that you want to do, you guys can do it. But I'm telling you, I was used to dunk the basketball, dunk on people. Look at my size. It was in my mind. It was in me. I did it. I got 2 minutes left. What can I tell you? 2 minutes left. You guys ever seen the orange? You ever seen the orange analogy? So, orange. Just pretend this is an orange. Just pretend. I'm holding the orange, guys. You see it? You see it? Okay. So, if I squeeze the orange with all my might, what comes out of it? Juice. Apple juice? Orange juice? Why orange juice? Why can't I get pineapple juice? Because it's a orange, and in the orange is orange juice, right? So whatever is in that and I squeeze it, that's what comes out of it, right? So if somebody was to come and squeeze me, right? I would hope that what comes out of it is energy, love, goodness. So whatever it is that we have in us, right? That's what's going to come out of us into the community. That's what's going to come out of us, right? And unlike the orange, we can change what's in us. I told you guys I grew up in Little Burgundy. I seen everything. Boom, boom. That could have been in me. But through sports, through mentorship, through community, we were able to change lives. And that experience was able to change me from going south to one individual being able to create a bunch of different things to empower a bunch of different people. And you guys can all do that, and you're doing that right now. But just think about that. What we put into the youth, however they come in broken, we put it into them. We could change them for them to go out and do positive things, academics and all. Okay? I want to thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for having me. So I know I messed up the whole thing. I know I messed.
But we're not going to let you go that easily because there are some people that I'm sure would like to have some questions. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that, you know? I have to fill your footsteps, you know, instead of the other way around, you know?
That's the mentorship, and that's picking up the baton and trying to continue that work that you guys are doing. Right?
Well, that's it. We had mentors, that, wanted to make sure that we were going to do exactly what you're doing, that you had the opportunity to do. So I would like to open it up for questions here from people. I think if you use the QR code, some of those should appear on the screen somewhere if you have questions, or if not, just somebody just raise your hand if you got a question, and we can, keep going. Yes, Ms. Cooper.
Thank you. That was a fantastic talk. I wonder if you can talk a little bit more about the networks of youth that you work with. Tell us more about who you work with at the moment.
So when I started the program, there was like about 18 kids. Now there's over 300 kids. It's a program that is here in Montreal, but I also started pushing it in Ontario and Toronto as well. So from the basketball perspective, and the academic perspective, we get kids from all over. So Southwest, LaSalle, Verdun, Hochelaga, NDG, Côte-de-Neige, Laval, RDP, Montreal North. I don't know how, but they come. They come from Gatineau. Like in the summer, they come from Gatineau. They come from Quebec City.
And he steals a couple of my kids.
I don't know, but I don't know. They
Okay.
they come through a network from the schools. So kids come from any different lanes. They either come because they love basketball. Some come because they're short. So their parents like, find Denburk. Or yeah, they have anger management problems, and there's parents that have gone through the program and they're like, you got to go bring them to Denburk. Or they come from so many different ways. Even the court system be sending kids. We're open to all, because all kids are not all kids are the same, and they're broken or they need guidance. And we have the basketball we're able to talk to them in a certain way. They won't listen to their parents or whatnot, but we're able to guide them in a certain way, all the way up the ranks to wherever they want to be, because we've had kids. It's been 20 years so I started this in 2005. Started that in 2005. So there's kids that have gone and they're successful, whether business executives or whatever, and there's kids that have gone and they're successful athletically. So we have some kids in the NBA or in the G League or played pro in Europe. But right now we're working on something called when the ball stops bouncing, because some of these kids that have graduated university, like there's a pool of them right now. I promise you, like I got like 8 calls recently. They're back. What degree did you get? What degree did you have? Now we're looking for employment, but the degree, the way we got in there wasn't the best way, because you were still thinking too much about the basketball. The basketball is done now, and you got a degree is not relevant. So now it's like starting over. So now these high school kids, so we have from grade 4 all the way up till they graduate CEGEP. So now these kids that graduated, they're coming back. So we're trying to make sure that the next generation of kids don't fall into that realm. Like, what's the next wave of employment and whatnot? And how can we help these high school kids kind of start thinking about that. Let's not wait till they get to CEGEP or university to think about it. Let's start thinking about it earlier. So
Well, you spoke about that a little bit earlier, where you were preparing kids. One of the questions is you spoke about making English youngsters speak French and French youngsters speak English. What was your purpose behind that, and how does it work in your organization?
so when I started it, it was number one, only Black kids.
Mhm.
There was only Black kids, and then it was only English Black kids, and then and then we there's guys that knew me, or there's principals that knew me, or coaches that knew me, but they weren't necessarily from the English side, and they're like, yo, I have 2 kids. If they're not with you, I don't know what they're gonna do in the summer. It's gonna be, so I'm like, send them. So as they became more French kids, there was this thing between French and English. So I partnered up with a group called Equitas. I don't know if you guys know Equitas, but Equitas. And so before games or before we traveled, because we traveled too, they would come in and they would do some team building and some team bonding and some respect, know how to respect each other. And so then I start forcing them, English, you guys speak French, French, you guys speak English. And when we went to the States and when we travel, we speak French. Yeah, in the hotel we could speak English and whatnot, but on the court, it's French because they don't understand it. And yeah, they don't understand it, and that's our
I
advantage.
do the same
Yeah,
thing.
so that's what it is.
It's your secret
Yeah,
weapon.
yeah. And the goal of that is you want to eliminate any barriers, or make them not barriers, but make them speed bumps. Make them speed bumps. Like, you're not comfortable, but let's get comfortable being uncomfortable. And so the language is very, very important for us. And the same thing happened when we introduced girls to the program in 2014. It was crazy. It was crazy. But you get through it, and you build them at the same time, and build them, you build them the same way. It's a little bit different, characters are different, and how you grow them and whatnot. But yeah.
Mhm. So, one of the other questions is, well, how do you prepare them? Do you accompany them on, on your trips and so on, but how do you prepare them for the kind of partnerships or things that you were talking about? You're talking about, teaming up with with another organization to help, team building and so on.
Yeah.
What kind of organization do you do that with, and how do you approach it with them?
Yeah, so you look and you see what's missing. So I think my biggest strength, right, is I know what I know, and I also know what I don't know. But what I don't know, I always seem to find the people who know, right? And that's networking or whatnot, right? Coverage, like we're all there. So we're all working as a collective for the greater good. So we're always looking. So I know that we definitely need a social worker.
Mhm.
We definitely need a new academic advisor, someone that can speak to them ground wise. No one wants to be. I'm dressed like this, in no disrespect. I'm dressed like this, but sometimes I go into spaces where, yeah, I'm in my suit and tie, but because we're speaking, and the energy that I wanted to bring I didn't want it to be too corporate, but I wanted to be real. I felt it was family. We're going to be speaking to family, and I wanted you guys to get a real sense of qui je suis, pourquoi je le fais, and comment on peut le faire ensemble. By the way, I went to a French high school, École Secondaire Montreal. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, you also talked about sometimes attitude, right? And sometimes how that, that's detrimental to kids. One of the questions is, how do you, what strategies do you use to work with those difficult kids, the ones that don't want to seem to, sort of care or don't want to be involved,
Yeah.
What does it take to, give them the boot. I know you.
You're not giving the boot out the door. You're giving the boot, and you stay here.
Right.
And take the heat. It's called giving them the heat. It's called, sometimes love is tough love.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's tough love. Sometimes it's really the parent really sitting down with the parent and the child, and really say, look, this is what it is. Is take it or leave it. right?
Mhm.
Take it or leave it.
Mhm.
And if you want this, if we make the basketball so attractive, like that's the shiny, right? That's
Mhm.
what they want. Okay. Now you got to go do the community service. Now you got to go do the workshop. Like I'm sitting there. I'm like, there's supposed to be 25 kids sitting down in those chairs. We have the speaker coming in, and you'll see kids rushing through the door, running. Oh, coach, just get in the seat. Just get in the seat. Just get in the seat. I might seem mad. But I'm like, okay, I'm so glad they came.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? But
Of course.
but
But you can't let them off the hook.
yeah,
right?
it's like pressure. It's like you just got to work with them and meet them. And then when you knock them down, you always pick them back up. You don't leave them broken. You don't leave them down because they're going to be broken. So that's the resiliency in sports. Like you get knocked down, you got to know how to get back up. And so as a coach, as a mentor, I call my coaches all mentors, coaches/mentors. You speak to a kid hard. Okay, he has to get it, but then explain to him why.
Mhm.
Like, why? You understand? If it was you and I did that, what did yeah, coach, I'm sorry. I got some texts. Yesterday morning from a kid saying, sorry, coach, for my attitude towards the team. And his attitude wasn't really that bad. It really wasn't that bad. But I had to use it as an opportunity to rally the team and say, yo, that's how you're gonna speak to him, blah, blah. But it really wasn't bad because I would have probably done the same thing. Right? But I used it as a teaching moment. And I texted him and said, nah, you were good yesterday, man. Keep it up. But yeah, choose your words wisely. He said, all right, coach. And this is like a 17, 18-year-old, right? So, yeah.
So you include that sort of in your lessons and when you're working
In the
with them?
day-to-day.
Because somebody has asked here about how do you sort of empower them to go beyond the sport,
So it's,
You talked about community service.
yeah, I could have had one of them. I could have told one of them, come to this thing today. We're doing this, whatever. And then they'll be sitting there listening in. And I'll be like, oh, by the way, John, come tell us about
About the program. Put them on the spot.
yeah, put them on the spot.
Mhm.
So it's like constant. I had a group of girls volunteer to do what was it? It was an event to serve. They all came in like they were going into a club.
Dressed.
I'm like, yo, what do you guys think you guys are? Oh, coach. No. Go home. No. These hours don't count. No, go home. Where's your mom? Like they have to learn and they learn on the spot. And
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I think girls, it's boys, there's a danger aspect of everything, the streets and all that. But girls, there's a danger aspect and all that of the streets and influencing and all of that stuff. And it's c'est pas bon. It's not. So we have to be even tougher,
Mhm.
you know?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
just to guide it. It's just to guide it. And then once they get into a good routine, a good rhythm, then they're gonna fly with it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, you also talked about, working with the parents.
Yes.
How
Yes.
concretely, how does that work? And how important is that to the success of your program?
It's so important, but we're not, it's so important and we're still working on that. Like, it's so important and we're still working on that, right? Because parents are busy. Parents didn't have the same, their experience is not the same as how it is now, right? And so connecting with them and trying to work with them to work with the kid it's still a challenge. So we have a sports summit. We have a sports summit that we started, a youth sports summit. And in there's a variety of workshops for parents, for coaches, for the kids to understand the true power of sports when it comes to youth development. Like, why do we play sports? Why do we use sports? Like all those, teamwork, collaboration, all that type of stuff, but also the mental side of it. Because as a parent, you could put so much stress on the kid, it kills them mentally. As a coach, same thing, and it transfers into school in their academics. So just understanding, helping the parents understand how all of that are connected and how do we get them to the next level. It's not guaranteed for everybody. You have to work to it, and we have to work as a collective.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're all in the community together.
Yeah, it's a community. It's a community. We all come together. There should never be any infighting in the community when it comes to helping kids. How is there infighting in the community when it comes to helping kids? Then you're not in it for real. You're not in it for the right reason. You're in it for you.
That's right.
You're in it for you. So there's no room for youth development or what have you if there's egos involved. Remember what I said before? The biggest barrier if you take away money is what? People. Okay.
Yeah, you know, we've had our share of struggles in the Black community about,
Yeah.
you know, about doing that. Any other questions that people may have? You know?
I like the top question.
Okay, I thought it was the same one, sorry. You mentioned that you grew up in the Bill 101 era. How did that impact you and your community youth? Does it still have an impact today?
Yeah, because you don't have English eligibility. So you can't really go to English schools. And if you didn't go to an English school, your kids can't go to the English school and yada, 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 yada. So we had to, my I don't know how it worked, but my aunts and uncles, they were able to go to an English school, Westmount Westmount High, and I had to go to a French school. Like, I don't know.
You know,
So
now-
yes, it still affects, but you know, where we think that something's bad, like, oh, it sucks. It shouldn't be like that, but it's an opportunity. Think of it as an opportunity. So the way you think, flip it, it's an opportunity, you know? So just think about it that way. You could being angry, being mad, being disappointed, it happens, but do you stay in it? It's a choice. Flip your mindset. Go get it. Remember, go get it. Rush, red rush, rush. Reach for your dream, uplift, share, help others. Go get it. Go get it. Flip your mindset. It's an opportunity, right?
Yes.
Question, I think my voice is loud enough. Anyway, I figure out how to phrase it in a way that is for everybody. Oh, thank you. Okay, so my question is, I believe, and I think a lot of people believe, but what am I to say what people believe, that we live in a time and age where systemic racism towards the Black community is a real thing, in educational spaces, in community spaces, in law spaces, in fill in the blank, continue. And a lot of your talk centered around kind of the power of sport and the power of inspiration, which hats off, amazing. But I'd like you to talk a little bit about kind of the importance of mentorship by and for the Black community specifically, and kind of how that, the place that takes in your reflections in programming and in the impact it has.
Yeah, mentorship is key. Like, mentorship is key. So in order to mentor, you have to have lived it. You have to have be in a space where you see all the elements, right? You have to have the ability to communicate it and to relate, right? And so you also have to have the ability to gain the respect of the mentee, gain the trust of the mentee. And so depending on where you're coming from and you're stepping into a space, and we're going to say a lot of time mentorship, it's natural. It's not forced, right? It's
By example.
yeah, it's like, it's natural. If I'm mentoring him, it's not going to be, it doesn't work like that. So in these spaces, when we start with like a speaker, a conference, a coach, it's with a group. And then the message, sometimes the message hits one or two. And that person after the talk, they'll ask a question. And then then you start building that there's something there. Okay, I would like you to work with John, right? And that's how it is. It's over time. And you look for good examples of people within the community and people who care or who you perceive to care, and then you bring them into that space. But over time, it becomes mentorship and guidance and all that stuff. There's a great guy in the community, Sven's Telemac. We use Sven's a lot. Rowan Higgins, we use Rowan a lot. But I just met a guy from Badshaw who's doing some work with us. And his name is Reggie. I don't know if Badshaw is here, but Reggie's very good. You guys have a good one there. Very good. He gets it. He's a little younger. I think he's like 30 or 40, but he gets it, right? And he has a good way of connecting with the staff, but as well as the kids. So yeah, you got to look and search and see, you know. And I have I hired a lady. Her name is Sherry Elephant. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Sherry Elephant. So I hired her as my director of operations, and she's been in the community for a while. And she's a Jewish, Moroccan Jewish lady, but she understands. So it's not always the person that looks like you, but has to understand the space and be able to relate and communicate. Understand the space, able to relate and communicate.
Well, you know, you come from the hood, so we understand that. That language.
Yeah.
Well, a basketball question has popped up.
Yes.
Can you still dunk?
So you know, no. The answer is no. So 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I was in the gym and I was kicking everybody out the gym, and some of the kids and the parents wanted to play, and I wanted to start getting back in shape and whatnot. And I was going to close the gym so I could take some shots. I had on my shorts and stuff, and they wanted to play, and they asked me if I could play, and I said no, I don't want to get hurt. But then I said okay, so I went. We played 3 games. Everything was good. Then when the kids started trash talking, I said, all right, one more. And I went up and I ruptured both my patella tendons, both knees, same time, one play. So I jumped and I heard pop, pop. Yeah, like you legit, you know, the doctor say, did you hear anything? No, you could really hear inside your body. Like the gym is loud, you could really hear it. You think I'm lying? I promise you. Pop, pop. Then my kneecap came, both my kneecaps came up and I grabbed them. So when I grabbed them, right, I was like this, because I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
And then I came down like this and I landed on my heel. And so then obviously there's nothing there. So my legs just and so I was down and I'm touching, I'm doing this because I lost them. And I'm doing this. And then my guy was like, he's like, yo, you good? You good? I said, yo, my knees. So that's all I'm saying. I'm like, yo, I got no knees. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, I got no knees. He says, oh, it's just a cramp, because the way I grabbed it, they felt it was a cramp. So I'm like, touch my knees. So he comes in, his hand goes through. He does one of these. Yo, back to the wall. And I'm like, yo, shh, because I don't want, you know, we're trying to figure out what this is. The pain is coming. I'm trying to figure out. And so people rush to him, like, yo. Like, yo. And he's pointing. I'm like, dude, it's crazy. But so no more. But look, I'm coming back. Look. That one hurt, but I'm coming back. But yeah, no. And the word on the street is that Berkey was in the gym, dunking again, and it's not true. It's not true. Yeah.
Well, look, we've got sort of 1 minute left here. I just want to know, is there kind of a final message that you would like to, you know, to leave everybody with today about, you know, through your experience, what you can, you know, let other people know about that joy of doing community work, that joy of, you know, of finding your calling, and that, you know, the joy of sticking to it. What would you say, and, you know, to give people advice, to be able to just give people that understanding that you have about what you do in your life?
No, not really. The only reason why I say that is because, you know, you guys are here. So showing up is part of it. And the only thing that I would say, and I said it before, is whatever you do, keep the heart in it, right? Whatever you do, keep the heart in it. And whatever it is that you're doing, just make it make it matter, right? Like you could be the spark, for something bigger, right? Right? And as you're doing it, just make it matter. Make it matter to you, make it matter to the people that you're serving. And you guys will be great. You guys are already great. You guys laughed at my corny jokes and stuff like that.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you, brother.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Denburk Reid. All right. So, as you know, we have other things planned for you during the day, so don't go away. We've had our way with you, so you're dismissed for the moment. And we hope to see you at the exercises this afternoon, or following this part of it, when we're all going to be in there talking about the living books. Yeah, no, go ahead.
So yeah, thank you. As we forgot to mention, I think that maybe that you were a living book this afternoon, or during the lunch period. I just want to say a massive thank you to Linton and Denburk. That was fantastic. Can we just anyway? I know there are probably more questions. It was fantastic. Thank you so much.